Showing up, moving the margins, that is how we win here in Missouri. When folks ask me about our path, it's definitely a bold and. We've got to be talking to folks in all communities, from rural and urban, suburban, and having voices like yours in those communities helps us to connect to everyone. And it helps us to shrink these margins. You know, I grew up in rural Southwest Missouri, and I moved to the big city of Springfield for college, where I live now. I know what it means to go to the actual grocery store once a month. I know how to make things stretch, and I know how losing one employer in a town can truly change everything. And we need more leaders who understand that. What is so interesting is how much the Republicans try to divide us Democrats who live in rural versus urban towns. And while rural and urban definitely have their differences, we all need good educations for our kids. We all need good jobs to pay the bills. We all need to be able to go to the hospital during an emergency. And these are the issues that I'm running on for governor. We've lacked real leadership in Missouri that has workers' backs, and that's why I'm running. I'm running for the families like the one that I grew up in. My mom waited tables my whole life, just until a couple weeks ago actually, and my stepfather, he drove almost an hour to work in a factory. Pretty normal Missouri family. But unfortunately, for too long, we've been missing these voices representing real working Missourians in our government, and it is time that we change that. Everywhere I go, I hear the same things. Our schools are underfunded, our teachers are underpaid, politicians in Jefferson City are out of control, and quite frankly, drunk with power. This November, we take back our rights. We kick politicians out of our doctor's offices, out of our libraries, out of our classrooms, and out of our personal lives. We need leadership focused less on making more families' personal decisions and more focused on getting things done. As governor, I'll fight the insurance and drug companies to lower health care costs. I'll work to end this disastrous child care crisis here in our state. We can't sit back. This is the most important election of our lifetime. We have abortion, paid sick leave, minimum wage on the ballot. We're going to kick Josh Hawley out of the just like we're going to take back our rights. Thank you all so much for all the work that you're doing to make Missouri a better place. Together, I know we can make Missouri the best place to live, work, and raise a family, and start a business. I truly appreciate all your support and everything that you do. I hope you guys have a great night.
My willing volunteer today. Oh, thank you. Okay, so this is my timer. When she starts to fuss a lot, I know I'm done. So it's very helpful. And look, I'm short enough to fit under the flag here. Pretty good. How are we all doing tonight? For those of you who do not know, my name is Elad Gross. I'm running for Attorney General of Missouri to sue a whole bunch of scammers, including those in our government. And unfortunately, there may be no bigger scammer in our government than our current Attorney General. Man, this guy's horrible. He just lost another case today. Using our money. The guy sued New York. He's suing to defund police departments that work with federal agents to stop violent crime in our neighborhoods. He sues to break Missouri's Sunshine Law, our transparency and accountability law. This guy doesn't want to be Attorney General. He wants to be King of Missouri. And it's our job to make sure he's not either one. He can't be either one. So I used to be an Assistant Attorney General back when the Attorney General's office used to work. It's been a long time. Chris Koster was there, and then we got that Josh Hawley guy. And then a long line of Josh Hawley and Schmidt, and now Andrew Bailey. I didn't think Andrew Bailey was going to make me miss Josh Hawley. I just feel nauseous saying that. It's bad. Look, I can tell you all of the terrible things this guy has done, but I prefer to tell you some of the good stuff that we can do here as Missourians. As Attorney General, I will start Missouri's first civil rights division in the history of our state. Most other states have one. We need to have one here in Missouri. And that will protect our rights on the job. It will protect us from discrimination. It will protect us from abusive government. And goodness gracious, we have quite an abusive government here in the state of Missouri. And we need a watchdog to protect our rights against a government that's gone absolutely nuts. And I will do that for the people of Missouri. Yes. As Attorney General, I will bring back the conservation, the agricultural, environmental division that Jay Nixon started, that Josh Hawley got rid of, to protect our land, our air, and especially our drinking water. We need an attorney general who's going to protect our kids and our natural resources. We need to have that. We used to have that. And most states do. And we'll have it again. Yeah, sure, yeah, I agree. I'm with you. As Attorney General, we are going to protect our rights to reproductive freedom. We are going to do it. We're going to put it in the state constitution. And when we do, the last person that we want defending those rights is Andrew Bailey. Because we know what he's going to do. That's not what they meant. That's not what those words mean. I know better than them. That's our money going down the toilet the entire time. We need an attorney general who's going to deal with local issues, not someone who wants to go sue New York so he can get on Fox News. We need someone who cares about you and your family. And as Attorney General, I will prioritize the people of Missouri again. Look, folks, we have done this before. We were at the cutting edge of so many things here in this state, in public education, consumer. We started the do not call list. This state did that. You wouldn't know it, but you know what? After I'm Attorney General, we're going to sue a whole bunch of those idiots too. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of them. But we have such an opportunity to get this done. The problem is in our government that the folks who are there right now care more about power than they care about anything else. Their power to tell us what to do. Their power to keep innocent people in prison. Another thing our Attorney General's been doing. Their power to say, we know better than you. Well, you know what I think? I think the people of Missouri know a whole lot better than them. And in November, we're going to show them that we know a whole lot better because we're going to fire a whole bunch of people in Jefferson City. Let's go ahead. She only fussed a little bit. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention. That's why she was fussing so early. I totally forgot to mention. This is going to be the new Deputy Attorney General in charge of puppy mill enforcement. We're going after those things. That's all we need now. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker tonight is Mr. Brown, the man in the hat.
Because we got abortion on the ballot and we got Crystal Quade, you bet your bottom dollar we gonna win. And more importantly than winning, we're gonna fire Josh Hawley, y'all. Get that Now look, I'm sorry, I guess I'm supposed to be talking about myself, but let me go ahead and do that. So, hey, and let me tell you about that DNC. Boy, I'm so glad they didn't bring out Clint Eastwood in that chair. Man! And there was a little bit of good news. Nigga has lost. Okay. So, you know, the day after the election, well, I tell you what, I was really excited. You know, we saw that Lincoln had lost, and a lot of people were predicting that he was going to be a future governor. That might be true. It's just not right now. But let me tell you something. My wife, I got all excited. I said, baby, guess what? I'm going to be on the ballot with Kamala Harris. I'm going to be on the ballot with Kamala Harris in November. And my wife stopped me. She said, Richard, now if you're going to say her name, you got to make sure you say it right. Now, I need to point out that my wife, her sister, two of her nieces, and her daughter, members of that sorority that the vice president belongs to, okay? So, she looks at me and she goes, Richard, say it with me. Her name is Kamala Harris. Kamala, like a comma and la. Say it with me. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. So I started doing that with my wife. And in that moment, I had this flashback to that movie. You know, Howard Stern, Private Parts. You know the part, they were trying to get the name right. WNBC. WNBC, right? So I'm running around the house going, WNBC. Kamala Harris. WNBC. Kamala Harris. And then it dawned on me. November 5th, all we have to do is go to the poll, cast that ballot, and guess what? We'll just call her Madam President. And on November 5th, my name's going to be on the ballot to be your lieutenant governor. And call me crazy, but this is why I'm running for lieutenant governor. I want the job. When was the last time you heard a candidate actually come up to you and say, I want the job? Okay? Here's why I want that job. Number one, I've been in the legislature now for 8 years. A lot of the roles that the lieutenant governor does, well, I'm serving in those capacities right now. The lieutenant governor sits on a lot of boards and commissions. I'm a tourism commissioner for the state of Missouri. I sit on that board with Mike Kehoe, the current lieutenant governor. So I understand what's going on with tourism. Also, I'm a retired teacher. The lieutenant governor sits on the board where we're talking about parents as teachers. I get it, because I'm an educator. The lieutenant governor is also the official advocate of senior citizens in our state. I think that kind of helps y'all. You probably can't tell, but I'm 61. Okay? And so I'd actually be advocating for myself as well as for many of you out there. You know, right now in the House, everybody knows I'm the guy that protects everybody's pension in there. Okay? The Missouri Retired Teachers Association recognizes me as legislative year 2023 because of all the work that I've done to protect teachers' pensions. And I've also protected the pensions of firefighters, police officers, other first responders, and government workers. In fact, we lost the pension funding for the sheriffs in our state, and we believe that we have found a fix for it, and so I've worked on that. Okay? Because I believe in retirement savings. You got to make sure that those promises that were made to folks are kept. Okay? Healthcare. I'm big on healthcare. You know, I know you're going to talk about rural Missouri specifically, but you know, over the last 2 years, 19 hospitals were closed in rural Missouri. And a lot of it could have been avoided. It was simply because people that you elected, well, I should say you guys, but people from your counties elected, still did nothing, would not expand Medicaid. Those hospitals closed. The Democrats stood there and said, we told you so. We didn't have the votes to stop it. We told you, this is what happened. Okay? You know, I fought with trying to get Medicaid expanded. Even after you said, yes, you wanted it expanded, I stood with you. And so did Crystal Quade. We went as far as filed a brief in the fight to expand Medicaid in Missouri was accepted into the Supreme Court argument. And of course, you know the end result. Medicaid was expanded by the Supreme Court. Okay, that's how far we'll go for the people of Missouri to do what's right in Missouri. So, you know, I'm going to kind of cut it short here. All crazy. I need a job, y'all. I'm new, but I got married 10 months ago, so my wife is picking up this job. So I appreciate you know what's good. Go to Richard Brown. Check me out on the website, richardbrown2024.com. That's richardbrown2024.com. There's a big red button there that says donate. Okay, donate. Not donate, donate. So hit that red button and donate what you can because you know elections are expensive. We got to raise that money. Thanks for your time. Look forward to the questions.
Love this guy. Love his hat. Our next candidate up is Barbara Phifer. She's going to be our next Secretary of State.
Excuse me, Brian, that would be Madam Secretary. That's okay, this time. Well, thank you. It is so wonderful to be here tonight. I am Barbara Phifer, and I am here for a job interview because I want to be your Secretary of State. And there are two reasons why I want to do it. Number one, I am mad as hell, and number two, I love democracy. And the two go right together. Why am I mad as hell? 2 words. Jay Ashcroft. He has taught Missouri a lot, hasn't he? He's taken a job that we believed was nonpartisan, that wasn't controversial, that was like gray paint on your wall, And we discovered it could be convoluted and corrupted, and over and over and over again, the Secretary of State could lie to the people of Missouri. Did you notice he got in trouble not once, but twice last week? First of all, the governor, the Republican governor of Missouri, what did he say about Jay Ashcroft? It was what? Reprehensible, and a few other words like that, because Jay just decided out of the blue that he didn't like something the parson had done, and so he refused to register it. Yeah, an executive order. For no reason. He just said, I just didn't feel like it. So, pretty cool, huh? So you don't feel like it, you don't have to do it. My 13-year-olds used to say that. I think he's still just a tad upset because he lost big lead just a couple weeks ago. So then at the end of the week, I think he still is in a bad mood. So, did y'all hear what he did about the abortion amendment? Yes. So he already lost, and when he lied about what was going to be on the abortion amendment, we had to take that to court, and a judge had to write the actual ballot language, correct? So yes, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So what he has done, as he has on the state website, is lying about what it will say, saying it's abortion on demand for 9 months, and that there can be nothing done to help women. It's just crazy stuff. And it's also what will be printed to be posted on the walls of every precinct in the state. So, the pro-abortion folks have had to go back to court to adjudicate this one more time. So, we know Jay is not going to be there next year, but do we really think Denny Hoskins is going to do any better? No! So how many of you folks here have him represent you in the Senate? Do some of y'all have him? Are you in his district? He's just a little bit north of here in Warrensburg. So, yeah. So I'm angry. I'm angry about what people are doing. But I also love democracy. And in order for democracy to succeed, we have to be able to trust both the people who function as those who take care of elections, and we have to be able to trust the outcome, right? So, Denny Hoskins begins from a place of saying, I don't trust elections. Missouri is touted as one of the best, safest election systems in the country, and he just starts out by saying, I don't trust it. We don't need any tabulation machines. We need to go back to hand counting everything on every ballot. Boo! That's right. I heard a room of 113 Republican county election officials gasp when he said that at an event at the Lake of the Ozarks. And in fact, the Republican county clerk in Greene County told me, Barbara, if we were to do that in Greene County in November, there would be 5 million things that we would have to hand count. That's overwhelming, isn't it? But that's the point. It creates chaos. Because first of all, it's less accurate, and it's time consuming, right? And we know what happens when we don't have election results. People get upset, they don't trust what's happening, and democracy breaks down. It's extremely dangerous what he is proposing. The second thing that my opponent proposes is that he believes that we should pay for surveillance in every precinct in the state, so that all of our election volunteers will be surveilled, as will you and me when we go to vote. Now, we know what happened 2 years ago in Georgia when one woman gave her daughter a piece of candy, right? And millions of dollars later, Rudy Giuliani still hasn't paid up. Who's going to be an election judge? Who's going to participate? Who's going to volunteer? And how are we going to pay for it? It's a disaster in the making. The third thing he wants to do is to get rid of absentee ballots, except for those who are disabled and in the military. So think about that. You can't go out of state. You can't go on a vacation. You can't, if you live 20 miles away and you're in town and you want to be able to vote, you have to wait until election day instead of doing it early. On and on and on. He wants to make voting hard and something that we're very suspicious about because he's trying to destroy democracy. And I absolutely oppose that. And frankly, I don't have a lot of bells and whistles to offer you. All I can do is tell you that the Secretary of State is the umpire for the state. She calls the balls and strikes, and you need an umpire who's going to be fair and impartial. Somebody who will follow the law and won't skew things one way or another, depending on how she feels about an issue or a candidate. So please, vote for me, tell people about me, and as Richard said, give money to me too. Thank you.
Are you guys ready to make the Secretary of State's office boring again? I am. Next person that we got up is Mr. Mark Osmack. I've met Mark a couple times, and I come away fired up every single time. And you all will all be that way too. Mr. Mark Osmack. I look forward to boring you for the next 15 to 20 minutes. You laugh now. Before we start, please get a selfie with everybody. Even the gentleman in the Navy hat, that's okay. We'll do that. I'm an Army guy, so that's the joke. Okay, so, all right, here we go. 1, 2. Some of you weren't smiling, but I'll look at it later. It is wonderful to be back. I say back because my second marriage was in this barn, and a lot of great. Some of you are like, I thought I liked him. That disappointed me with a joke about the second marriage. Okay, if he had it. How long do you want me to do this shtick? It's going to go that long. So my name is Mark Osmack, born and raised in Missouri. I grew up in a double-wide trailer, so sorry ladies, I am married, already taken. Took 2 trucks to move my house, or the same truck twice, however you look at it. Went to Mizzou, went to become rich, so I became an English literature major. And really, all right, you're poor with me. Really struck it rich with semicolons. I mean, I just spoke to my now wife, my real one, just in punctuation, you know, like hyphen.
Kamala.
It really went over well. I just before I get started on what we're going to focus on in the race, I live in St. Louis, but one of the honest to God true joys are driving parts of the state that I haven't seen. As long as it is not on Highway 70, because Mother of God, every time I'm on the highway, it's mind-numbing. So, but truly, driving through this part, Missouri is a stunning state. It is a beautiful state. It is not a flyover state, and I am so proud to be from here, to my family to be from here. And what a beautiful reminder outside the windows, well, those ones. But with the corn and the sunset and the bales of hay, it is truly beautiful. So what a wonderful reminder driving down here. So I just wanted to say that. So now for the office. I know everyone thinks when they're 5, I want to be Treasurer of Missouri, right? Sorry, wait another 4 or 8 years, suckers. But it is not an automatic green light to the state's purse. So here are some of the things that it does or should do, and here's the things I think that we can do. One of them is every request for school vouchers goes through as approved through there. With one addendum, once elected, they used to go through the Treasurer's office. because we are robbing, the state is robbing the public education system in the state. And every single time, it's like every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Every time a voucher is approved, we are robbing the public schools of the state. The first kindergarten, not in the country, or sorry, the first kindergarten in the country was in Missouri. Every other state, every other locality looked at Missouri and said, we want to be like that. Now we are 50th in teacher pay. Now they can't find enough bus drivers in St. Louis City to get kids to school. That's what's happening now. And then they have the audacity to say, well, I just don't understand why the schools are failing. Well, you quit funding them. So they claim that we as a state have $8 billion with a B dollars in surplus. I'm suspect of that. But if it actually is true, I don't know that we should be bragging about having $8 billion in surplus when you've cut every damn public service in the state. So that can and will change. And I don't want to get into the questions later on about rural Missouri, but I had an idea talking to Missouri Dairy Association, Missouri Pork, Missouri Cattlemen's, Missouri Poultry, Missouri Soy, and Missouri Corn. I talked to them, the top two concerns they have in neither particular order, but the number one thing is healthcare for farmers. That a lot of them have to get secondary jobs because they're independently employed. So that's solvable. The second one is immigration. And I said, what do you mean by that? They said, we need more of it. And for workers, because I'll be honest, guys named Mark Osmack aren't picking the corn. So we have the audacity again to condemn and criticize people on television for months leading up to an election, saying we're going to send them back, deport them all. Oh, but before you go, can you finish picking a few more bushels because I got to get these to sale. So when I hear these things, I didn't say anything like, well, we need health care, we need more immigration. And I just thought, if only there were a party committed to health care for everyone. And neither here nor there. So the third thing is mental health care. Suicide is rampant among the farming community, among farmers. It is an incredible amount of pressure that I will not understand. But even though I won't, my understanding may fail, my commitment to addressing it will not. So those are the three things they've mentioned. Another one they've said is, hey, we know there are hungry kids throughout the state in schools. And I thought about this because I was one of the poor kids that had the special colored paper. I'm not sure how they do it now, but the special colored little coupon looking thing. And I said, well, first thing, this to me is easy, but instead of wringing your hands saying, is this person poor enough or middle class or rich or too rich to have a meal, if you're hungry, get a damn breakfast or a damn lunch, period. Okay? That's not communism, that's not socialism, that's humanism. We're people, the kids shouldn't be hungry. But then I thought of something else. I asked, his name is Mark Fellwalk out of the Missouri Dairy Association. I said, hey, do you know by chance where the milk comes that's served in Missouri? They go, Illinois. I said, what if we required every Missouri meal to be made with Missouri agriculture? So the milk you drink is Missouri milk. The pork you eat is Missouri pork. The beef you eat is Missouri beef. And on and on and on. It does a lot of great things. The first thing, it helps sustain any kind of financial instability, because if you look at the markets, which I know we all do, there is an inverse relationship between the beef, typically beef and pork. So when beef is really high, pork's lower, and the opposite what happens as time goes on. Consumer tastes change, prices change, all those type of things. But it is a great thing for the state because every single farmer gets the biggest customer in the state, the state. The kids get a free breakfast and lunch, and we are able to help farmers go through difficult periods of financial instability that sometimes are very unavoidable. So that is something that we can do. So at this new program we're rolling out, it's MOAG for Mo Kids, so MO, so Missouri. Yeah, it's really gonna be really great. Very excited about that. I've got two daughters. One is 4, one is 1, named Evelyn and Kennedy. And Kennedy we named after Bobby, and then someone said, Mark, which one? And I'm like, the one that didn't jump a dead bear in Central Park and doesn't have a brain worm, the good Bobby. Jeez. So I say that because, holy cow, childcare is madness. With 2 kids, and I just found out my wife and I are expecting our 3rd. And I'm the dad. So baby is due in March, and so but having those kind of financial pressures, now I understand. When I ran for Congress, I was single. I didn't have kids. Now it's different. So there are childcare deserts that we can address. I haven't worked out everything yet, but don't worry, we will. So a 529S plan, but for childcare. There is something we can do to get families to move, not only to not leave Missouri, but to come to Missouri. We would be the first and the only state to do this. We will be the show you state in childcare. This is something that is achievable. Very excited about it. And you all thought the treasurer's office was boring. No. Other thing is our contracts that go through. So I'll just say I am very pro-union, very pro-labor. And I will die on that hill. When unions are strong, Missouri is strong. When Missouri is strong, it's because unions are strong, period. And that includes every type of union. Teachers, communication workers, everybody. So there's so much to do. I could get into a little bit about housing situations near Fort Leonard Wood and why that is. But here's just a really quick background about me. As you can tell by my very intimidating physique, I didn't get to the punchline and all the ladies are joking. Well, you don't like concave chests? I don't know what the problem is. Still taking. I heard a cackle. So I'm still in the Army, so I had active duty, did 2 tours in Afghanistan. The first time during the surge of 2010 to 11, thanks. First time during the surge of 2010 to 11, earned a Bronze Stars and Mortar Platoon Leader. The second time I went back with 101st Airborne, 2013-14, I got lucky again in Afghanistan. And then I went back for a 3rd time to Qatar and Jordan. Qatar is where all the Afghan refugees are being processed through before they come to the United States. So if you were an interpreter, if you were a linguist, if you worked in a bank, if you were a teacher, on and on and on, that's where your family is going through, and that's before you come to the United States, and selfishly, hopefully, the show me state. So that's where I was at a year and a half ago for 10 or 11 months. So I say all that, not because I'm bad or anything like that. I wear camouflage pajamas. You can serve in so many ways. You can be a teacher, you can be a paramedic, you can be a police officer. There's so much you can do, different ways to serve. Teach for America, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, Job Corps. To me, they're all the same. I just chose to do that. But I say that because, friends, we can win this thing. We can win this thing by attacking them where we haven't before. It is our flag too, and we're taking it back. They do not get to claim any of that. I am tired of losing, so we will attack. When our enemy is strong, you attack, and we will be. We will be relentless in that pursuit, because when we win, the state of Missouri does better. That's how we get better schools. That's how we get teachers who are paid. That's how we have strong unions. That's how we have child care when we haven't had before. That's how we have an OBGYN north of Highway 7, because right now there are 0. That's how we can actually start making this state better for everybody. That's how we can have no more hungry kids going to school. That's how we do it. It's not going to happen immediately the day after being sworn in, but my God, we will start then. The plans are ready. So that's my mindset. That's the way I'm going into this thing. We attack, we're going to make them react. So I could not be more excited to do this, to start this thing. I look forward to any and all of your questions. My name is Mark Osmack. Let's go win this damn thing. I'll see you all in January.
I told you it was good. Okay, quick question for everybody that's in the room. We're trying to figure out here in rural America, what's the easiest way to be able to reach you guys? So I need to know how you guys found out about this. Did you find out through an email? Raise your hand. Okay. Did you find out through a text message? Okay. Did you find out through a phone call? Did you find out just at your county meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah, you need to read the newspaper. Good, good. We have some newspaper people here. Okay, good deal, good deal. Social media, Facebook, word of mouth, flyers.
You forgot why.
Oh, yes, yes. Blink once if you need to get out of here. Okay, something that the candidates brought up was about farmers and everything else like that. How many farmers do we have in the room? Raise your hand.
Used to be a farmer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for feeding us. How many retired farmers do we have? Okay. So, what that tells me to tell you guys is that rural does not always mean farms. Okay? Not everybody that lives in rural America, lives in rural Missouri, is a farmer. Okay? Do we have any retired factory workers here? Okay. Any retired union guys here? Union gals here? Okay, good, good. Teachers, retired teachers. Thank you, thank you. Any retired postal workers? Thank you for getting us our benefits.
Healthcare.
Healthcare. Any nurses, doctors, anybody like that? Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Bankers.
Bankers? Yeah, yeah. We all need houses. We all need money.
Divorce attorneys.
How many people moved here for retirement? Quite a few. Quite a few. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So we will get to the question for each of the candidates. It's all the same question for them. Then we're going